Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the collaboration of the Paper Stash Smash. So we all have paper stashes, well, at least most of us, I think. And there's a whole team of people who are collaborating in video form this year to smash that paper pads. And this month it's 12 by 12s. I will have a playlist linked down below so you can see what everyone made last month, what they're working with. We have a lot of planners on the team, and so you'll see a completely different format, but it's really enjoyable, and you'll see so many different projects. So if you're in a rut and you need some inspiration, check out this playlist. Okay, so I have this paper pad that is absolutely gorgeous to me because I love florals. And I think I may have just figured out a quick and fun and easy and very approachable junk journal for people to try. Okay, now I had so many ideas about how to bind this junk journal, but I want to keep it simple. So in the journal I'm making today, I only used 3 12 by 12 sheets, but I'm prepared 5. I just figured out that I only needed 3 for my project. I also went through all of my copious amounts of book pages. A lot of these came from It's a Human Curiosity on Etsy, but I also just have a ton, like this old Shel Silverstein book that was damaged, falling apart when I got it. It's not in great condition, but it's fine for a junk journal. And I love this like food page, this old recipe book page. So I grabbed some pages like that. I also grabbed this elementary paper pad, and I'm going to tear out like 10 sheets of this paper. Just use what you have, use what you like. You might not like the junk journal feeling of this journal, and that's fine and good and totally okay. You can use any kind of paper you want. You don't have to use all these random different book pages and things like that. But let's just say maybe you have a lot of those random book pages and you don't know how to use them besides folding them in half and putting them in a journal. So I think this journal will be a good way to use them. So all I'm doing right now is cutting off this branding strip. I'm still going to have a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And these are so easy to make. So once that's cut off, I have this 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and this one's directional, the front side, but the back side's not. So I'm going to take that into account. And here I'm going to score at 8.5. You can make your journal any size you want. I just chose 8.5, and then I'm scoring at 6. So I'm going to take the bottom edge that I had scored at 8.5 and fold that up and create a pocket. So now this is 6 by 8.5 journal, which is a pretty standard size, at least for me and my crafting. And so I am going to use 3 of those pockets. So here's another one that's directional, and I'm just showing you that, you want to think about your directional paper when you're deciding where to score. So I wanted my little deer to be upright. The flowers I'm not worried about. And I made the deers the inside of the pocket and not the outside of the pocket. If you have a pattern that is upside down, just grab a scrap, grab other paper, and make like a label for the pocket. And you can cover up the upside down paper. It's not a problem. There's always a workaround, right? But I wanted to kind of give you those tips. So now I have my pockets, which are going to be the base of this. Now I'm showing you here, this is one that I made for movies back in 2023. We kept this on our DVD shelf, and we would write and record all the movies we watched together as a family that year. And it was just a really fun thing. So this journal was only these pocket pages stitched together with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And that was so much fun. I got that idea from my friend Letty over at Party Planner Papery. Okay, but I'm jumping off from that point and doing something different today. So I'm going to pick 3 of these pieces of paper, and they are going to be kind of the formation of my journal. Now, I'm going to use a hole punch and these rings from the Dollar Tree today to bind mine, because I wanted to bind it in a way where you don't have to have a cinch, you don't have to have special tools, you don't have to have special skills. All you need is a hole punch and you could use ribbon, twine. And here I want to show you that you don't have to use any tools at all besides string. You can actually just run your string along your journal a few times, and believe me, it'll hold it together. And what's cool about that is that you can take pages in and out and rearrange, and it's called a flow journal. So it can be a flow journal with just tying string around. I think a lot of times people want to make a journal, but they stop at binding. I think binding is a place that people get all bound up. And pun intended, I'm a card maker. But yeah, so today I'm going to show you how to create a system to use a hole punch. My hole punch is not special. It is just a standard hole punch. And here I'm gluing down the edges, just the 2 outside edges, to actually create a pocket. So that is how I'm creating those pockets. I'm not gluing down that inside part of the pocket because they're going to be bound together, and it's just going to kind of naturally hold things in place. You could glue yours if you wanted to. Okay, so now I want to take my paper and get it all ready. So this one I'm going to cut down so that it's 11 inches. And then I'm just going to fold it in half. I was toying with cutting it in half, but then I decided, no, I'll just fold these in half and insert them that way. So I'm just going to take these pieces of paper and fold them in half. If you're looking for little packs of paper like this, I know the Dollar Tree used to have them, Walmart might have them, other places might have them. But definitely during like school supply shopping, you'll find some. And then I have a bunch of loose leaf pages. And now I need to take these and size them down. So my 8.5 by 6 inch is my cover for this project. It's my front and my back cover. And so I want to make sure all my pages fit within that cover. If you like your pages sticking out from your cover, that's fine too. Like, there are no rules at all. I think there's just preferences from one maker to another. And so these are my preferences, that my pages stay inside. So I am going to do the same thing. I remember that Pancakes poem. We had to learn poetry in 4th grade and recite it, and I always picked Where the Sidewalk Ends. I always picked Shel Silverstein. And I remember reciting Pancakes once. So yeah, these book pages take me back. I wanted to include this. This is just a random map that came in a Human Curiosity book, and I like that it has Louisiana and it has Lake Pontchartrain on it. I don't know. I've always loved the name of that lake, and so I'm just making sure that I have it on there just for funsies. But I'm just using my paper. So I keep a bunch of loose leaf pages. This is my little box of scraps, but that's where I put the cut off parts of that map. But I keep a bunch of my loose leaf book pages just kind of all stacked together, and I like to have them all mixed up. And I just went and grabbed a handful, and so I did have to cut a number of these down to fit within, some more than others. Now, here is the process. You grab a strip of paper that is the exact same height as your cover or your tallest piece of paper, and that is going to be your template. So this is just a little cutoff from being a 5x7 card maker. You're going to mark the top. You have to mark the top. Mark the top, and then you can be really precise and measure everything out. or you can eyeball things, whichever one you prefer. I am going to find my middle point here, and I am going to mark the centerpiece of this, which would be 4 1/4. And then I'm going to go 2 inches from the top and 2 inches from the bottom, I think. But it really, what matters is the height of your shortest page. So at first you cut the template down to 8.5 if you're like me working with this 8.5 sheet of paper, right? Then you find the center. Then you grab your shortest page. And now this is going to determine where you put your top hole and your bottom hole if you're doing 3 holes. If you're making a journal like this, you can put in 5 rings. It doesn't matter. You do what you want to do as far as that's concerned. I'm just putting 3, but you could put 4, you could put 5, you could put 15. It's yours. You make it any way you want it. But this is the way I wanted to make mine. So once I determined the height of my shortest piece of paper, that helped me determine where to put these holes. Now, I was a lucky gal, and somehow my holes came out even, but that is something you want to pay attention to, that they're all lined up. You can use a T-ruler if you want, but you don't have to. I was able to eyeball mine and get them in a pretty good line. And then I simply punch a hole, and I have a template. And I use this template to cut the holes in all of my papers. So you mark the top just in case your measurements are a little off. It'll keep things from going wonky on you. You'll know where to put it. Now, it was really hard to punch the holes through the pocket part of these pages, because this is a thick cardstock and there's 4 sheets of it there. And so it was really difficult to cut those, and it took a lot of force. So I think a crocodile would be a better tool, but I was trying to go super simple. You can do it. I do think that putting a paper clip on your template like this will help you keep it in place. You can put 2, 3, 10 paper clips. But like the first 2 holes are really easy, but this bottom one, going through those 4 sheets of heavyweight cardstock is no joke. It was difficult. I'll say that binding like this isn't the fast way. It's not fast. It's actually faster to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. But for whatever reason, I know that people find that intimidating and they don't want to do it. And so as journal makers, we're always trying to come up with alternatives for those that don't want to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And sometimes for your projects, you don't want to do it. And I get that too. Okay, now, you saw how I lined that one up. It's really best for your shorter sheets to hold them to the cover. See how I have that cover down? And then I'm putting my shorter sheet where I want it to land on the page. And that's how I line up my template, to know exactly where to punch these holes. You can't just do it all willy-nilly, because your book will not come together right. You really do have to have a process. So that's why I say the 3-hole pamphlet stitch is so much easier, because you poke 3 holes, you run some, twine through it, and you're done. But this is an alternative. Now you can reinforce all these if you want to. I don't want to, so I'm not going to. I picked 3 pages to be my front cover, my back cover, and my inside pocket. And then I'm going to take and just kind of pick about 4 pages of these. I'm going to have 2 signatures, we'll call them, of junk journal pages. So I'm just kind of taking those pages out, and then now I'm going to randomly select these. See how that's close? Definitely going to want a reinforcer for that one. The template will help so much. And when you're putting your hole in your paper and making your template, you do want it to go over a bit to help keep pages from tearing out easily. That's why I don't do a lot of ring bound journals personally, because the pages tear out or you have to reinforce them. So all in all, this journal took me about an hour to put together at the most. That includes preparing my 12 by 12 paper, scoring, making pockets, doing all the hole punches, and actually binding it together from start to finish. It was about an hour. And, you know, there's pros and cons to everything. This enabled me to use like loose leaf book pages in a junk journal without just like folding them in half and putting them in the journal. So there's pros and cons to everything. The finished project I do like. And I think that, you know, I'll do more to it. I think what we have in this video today is a great foundation. And then I can take this project and make more of it. So for these videos each month, I like to come in with a project because the idea is that we smash our paper stash. Well, I like to start the month off giving you an idea of a project that you can use to smash your paper stash. So if you have 12 by 12 paper and you want to smash a lot of it, this might be a project you want to try. Otherwise, you will see projects all month long from the team, and you will see people using their 12 by 12 paper stash in different ways. You can collaborate along with us using the same hashtag. And, you know, I think it is a great endeavor. I do a lot of paper stash smash because I am a very prolific crafter. I make a lot of stuff. So last month I did end up finishing off 3 paper pads, making those little journals, those little 3-minute journals. And this month, you know, I'll probably end up making more of these journals. I might alter the way I bind them. I think I would like to bind them with a cinch. I just wanted to come here today and give you a more simple way to do it because I didn't want to leave anyone out. I'm going to put some beads on these rings, and I also just tied on some scrap fabric because the decoration hasn't even begun. We really just have construction at this point. But, you know, you could always do so much more. If you wanted to sturdy up the covers, you could put like a clear acetate binding cover on it and punch holes through that. You could do any number of ways. But I do like this little journal. I like the way it came together. I like the randomness of the book pages. I like the pockets. And what I absolutely love is I can come in and keep adding to it. Nothing's permanent. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Thanks for spending your time with me. I hope you'll go along the playlist, and I'll see you next time. Bye.